Learning a new 3D software can be really challenging sometimes. But Unreal Engine made me really surprised, and here is why. It's not complex as it seems to be. If you already had experience using Blender or another 3D software, probably you won't have difficulties to navigate and engage with this software. I'm talking about nodes, navigation, interaction mode, and a few more stuff which we are going to talk about now. When you first open Unreal Engine, you're going to see that we have a lot of different options to start our project. For this video, we are going to use this blank here. Okay, here we have different buttons to control your object. Selection, position, rotate, and scale. I don't want to be wrong now, but I think Unreal Engine works with centimeters or millimeters.
Come on now, dawg. Come on, man.
In this section here, you can adjust how hard your object moves. Talking about position, rotation, and scale. And here, of course, camera speed, which we're going to talk about later on. In this side, we have our outliner list. So everything that we are seeing here is in our viewport as well. If you scroll down your mouse, you're going to see this option, details. So details is related to every information about our mesh, our lights, or anything else. Just to add something, it's really important for you to study this tab because you can control and adjust, for example, your material and your mesh in general. Now in this side we have a lot of stuff which we are not going to talk about in this video, but they are important. We have level sequence, we have blueprints to program your game, and stuff which are really important, of course. Here we have quickly add to the project. You can find your lights, you can find different shapes, and in this case I'm gonna add one cube just to interact with this cube and show you what you can do here. Remember that we talked about the details tab? Yeah, it was important for me when I just studied for 24 hours because here I can rotate my mesh, I can do whatever I want, and then, for example, I just added one camera and I can find one camera, going to cinematic and selecting Cine Camera Actor. Okay, now we have our camera here, and I like to adjust my camera positions using the details tab because for me it's smoother, it's better to control my camera, and this is exactly what I did when I first started using Unreal Engine when I was studying in this last weekend. Now, talking about the selection mode, you can find different ways to engage with your environment. For example, landscape, foliage, mesh paint, fracture, a lot of them can make a difference when you are just editing your environment. In this case, we're going to click in landscape and see what's going on. If you're using Unreal Engine for the first time, you can just play around and have fun with this. Like, just create your first landscape and, create one sketch. Don't need to take this too serious. Audrey, but I don't know, how can I navigate to my viewport? How can I do that? Okay, let's check this out right now. Pretty simple. E to go up, key to go down, W to move forward, S to move back, A to move left, and D to move right. And clicking with the right button and moving my mouse, I can just rotate my viewport. I don't know how can you do that using Windows. Sorry guys.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
And second, creating our environment. In my opinion, Unreal Engine is basically importing assets, organizing our lights, and creating your environment, of course, and a lot more. Selected one light source and pressed Ctrl L in order to control my sunlight. It's time to import some assets from Quixelbrid. So press Ctrl space and then click in content, and after that clicking add and open your Quixelbrid. Here it's pretty simple. You just need to find out which asset makes sense for your scene. In this case, I'm gonna import a few rocks. Okay, download is done, so now it's time to find your asset. When you find your asset, you just need to drag your asset into your environment. Simple as that. And now you can just play around. Duplicate your mesh, rotate it, and have fun. And the most important thing that I learned in this environment, it was about foliage. I just went to foliage and I selected one of the foliage that I had in my computer at that moment. And then I started painting all over my environment just like this. And you can just adjust your brush size and it's pretty simple. And if your foliages are not working, you can do one thing. You can press Ctrl space, select your mesh, and then in your material, you can just look for enable grass wind. I know this video was short, but I am gonna cover up a lot of stuff later on. I hope you guys enjoy it, and do not forget to subscribe in my YouTube channel. Let's go!